Hello, what's going on everyone? My name is CJ Benkino and you're welcome to your favorite channel, The Lord of Apps. And today we are going to be creating a vertical navigation menu. Talking about this menu right here. And I did not only create the vertical navigation menu, I went ahead to add other sections to the website and I was able to segment them. So here we have article section on this website, talking about this section now. And then we have a sidebar. And then we have a footer right here. Alright, so I want you to notice that this website that I have just created, the target of this is just to teach you how to create this vertical navigation menu bar, and that is why I did not add much style to the rest of the sections on the website, like the header right here, and then the article followed by the sidebar. So we are going to be doing most of our works on this particular vertical navigation bar, which is the purpose of this video. So, but I added this in order to teach you how you can float some of these segments to the way they are, and then I'll actually make them responsive by yourself. So, and before we start coding now, I want to also show you how responsive this is. So if I go ahead and then resize this browser, you will notice that this navigation menu is going to be at the top of the page, and then this article section will come underneath, followed by the sidebar. Alright, so let's see this. Yes, if I go ahead and resize the browser, you see that it transforms. So we now have our navigation menu on top of this place, and then followed by the article section. And after that, we have our our sidebar right here. So it's actually very responsive. All right, so let's go into our editor and start coding now. All right, welcome guys once more. So I'm going to be using Notepad++, and you guys can use any editor of your choice. So the first thing that we need to do now is to lay out our basic HTML tags, and to do that, have to go ahead and paste that in. So, and what I've just done is that I'm using Emmet with my editor. If you guys don't have Emmet installed on your editor, you can go ahead and type that out. Alright, so the next thing that we need to do now is to add our title here. So let's call this responsive navigation bar. Navigation. So actually there's one more thing that I want to add to this now, and that's the viewport, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that in as well. So what this simply means is that we are trying to tell the browser to also think of other screen resolutions, such as your phones and then your tablets. Alright, then so actually what I want us to do now is to save this web page. As you can see, I have not actually saved this. So what I'm going to do now is to save this somewhere on my local drive, and to do that I want to go to my desktop and do that. So show desktop, and I want to save mine into this folder, YouTube, and I'll create a folder for it. So right click, new folder. I'm going to just call this vertical_navbar. So whatever, all the files that we're going to be creating are going to be saved into this folder. As you can see, it is empty now. So I'll go back to my browser. I'll go back to my editor. Alright, and then I'll try to save this file. Save as, and I'll navigate to my desktop and find that folder, YouTube. Open the YouTube, open vertical, and I'll save this with index.html and click save. So now this is what we'll have now. So if we go ahead and run what you have already, you will notice that we'll have nothing to show for now. see that we just have a blank web page, but if you look at the title bar right here, we now have a responsive vertical navigation bar, and I will show you where that is coming from. So that is actually coming from this place, the title of the web page that we are working on. So the next thing that we need to do now is to start working on it. So let's go ahead now and create the navigation menu. So to do that, I'll put that in a header tag. Close, open and close header. And if you are wondering where that is coming from, that is actually available with HTML. If I'm talking about header, it's actually available with HTML5. So it's an HTML5 semantic. Alright. And under this header, I'm going to actually create the heading of this. So I'll say H1, and I'll copy this as the title and paste it right here. Ctrl V, and I'll close that tag H1. Okay. And if you see, we should now, what we will have, let's refresh our web page, and we should now have that title right here. This is what we've got now. Alright. So the next thing that I want to add now is the navigation menu itself. So to do that, we have a tag called nav, and I'm going to give it a class of navbar. And next, we're going to actually use unordered list, and we're going to actually use unordered list. And finally, I'm going to close out the UL tag, and finally the nav, and then in between this UL, I'm going to create this nav. I'm going to create some lists. So if I say LI and ahref equal to, and I'm going to create a dummy link there. I don't want to send that to anywhere, and I'll say home, and finally I'll close the anchor tag first, and then the list item, and then the next thing to do is I'm going to copy and paste these 3 more times. So Ctrl V again, Ctrl V. So I'll change this first one to services, and this one to product, and the last one to feedback. So let me change this one to lowercase also. Alright, then Ctrl S to save and refresh our browser, and here is what we've got now. Alright, so let's go back to our editor. So the next thing that I want to do now is to add the article section. Let me just show you from the former work. So what I want to do now is add this section, this article section. So to do that, we'll go out of this. We'll go out of this header, and then we'll create a section. So section, open and close, and then inside of the section, now let me just close the section first. Section, and in between the section, let us add article tag, and close the article. And within the article, let us give let's create an H2 and we can call it let us say clean vertical navigation bar, and we close the H2. And under the H2 now, let us just add a paragraph tag, and we can say, let us just say this with pure CSS and HTML, and we'll close the paragraph tag. And I actually need a lot of text inside, so I'm going to copy this and paste it a couple more times. Let me just separate it here. Alright, and I will copy and paste this a couple more times. Control S. So I'm going to go ahead and add another section here. Let me just actually bring this up so that you guys can see it. So within this place, just under that first section, we can do another section, open and close another section. And within this section that we've just created, you can just see a side, and this A side is also available in HTML5 semantic. So within this A side, I want to actually grab a paragraph and let's say an H2. Control C to copy, and I'll paste it here. Let me just change this to H3. Change this one to H3, and we can copy and paste it again, maybe 2 more times. Control C. I think that should be okay. So Control S to save and refresh your browser. Now this is the format. Let me just close out this format one and go back to the one we are building now. So if I refresh, this is what you have now. It doesn't look beautiful yet because we haven't actually added any CSS. So let's go back to our editor, add a couple more other things. I want to add our footer down here. So to do that, just say footer. And we can actually call this let me just put the load of app, and to add the copyright symbol, we can just do and copy. Let's say copy this, then we'll close the footer tag. Control S to save, and if we refresh our page, we should now have our footer. So let's scroll down. So this is our footer now, and this is the sign. And what actually brought this copyright symbol is this code that I added right here. This code is what produced that. Alright, yes. So I think that is it for the HTML. And the next thing that we need to do now is to start actually styling the website to make it look beautiful. And to do that, we can just create a new file and save this as let's save it as So let's save it as, and make sure that as you are saving it into the folder that we just created. In my own case, I used the vertical_bar, which I actually misspelled a vertical, but it's still okay. Alright, so I'm going to do style.css. Alright, and this from here can be anything, but make sure that you have the extension .css, and we click save. So to test things out, if I do body and say background, let's say green, and Ctrl S to save. If I go and refresh my web page, I won't notice anything, and the reason for that is because we did not actually link the style sheets, being the CSS, to this index. So for us to correct this, we need to go back to our index and add that. So scroll up to the head section, to the head tag, so under this place you can just add link, link rel style sheet href equal to style.css. If you then Ctrl S to save, and if you refresh your page, you should now have the background. So that is it. So we are now successfully connected to our CSS. But this is not actually the kind of background that I want. So I'm going to go ahead and then get rid of that background. So let's go to our CSS and change the background to something else. Maybe we'll leave it at white, or let me just use F4 light gray. That's light gray background. So Ctrl S to save and refresh the browser, and here is what we've got now. So let's go back to our editor, and next thing that I want to do now is to take the browser as a default padding and margin away, and to do that we use a star to do of resetting the whole padding and margin. So if I do star this, and let's say margin, I say 0 pixels, and then padding 0 pixels, 0 pixels, and then the next thing I want to add now is the box sizing. I'll set that to border box, and what this will do is I'm talking about this box sizing, is to make sure that all the padding and margin that I'm going to be including in this particular is to make sure that all the padding and margin are taken and then included in the actual size of whatever elements I'm going to be working on. And I think that this is 0, this is O instead of 0. So yes, alright. And the next thing that we need to do now is to take our nav. So if I say navbar, and I remember we'll give it a class of navbar ul, and we can give it a background. Let's say black 000, should give you black, and then the color of the text should now be, let's say, white, FFF. And we Ctrl S to save, and we refresh our page, and there we'll now have this. And notice that the color of the text did not change actually. We are going to do something about that. So I think that this is not actually the right place to put the color of the text. So let us actually add a couple of more other things here, like the list style type. Set it towards none, and what that will do is to remove the bullet points, and then let's set the overflow to hidden. And what this does is that nothing should go outside of each container. And let us give it a width of let's see 20 pixels, sorry, 20% to make it responsive. And then text align to center, and that will center the text. And let's give it a height of 100%. And what this would do is to assume 100% of every vertical space that is available for it. Alright, so the next thing that I want to add now is the float. So I'm going to float this to right. Sorry, let's float it to left. Ctrl S to save. Let's see what we've got so far. Alright. Okay. So let's continue. The next thing that I want to do now is to actually work on the link. And to do that, you can say .navbar UL LI then A for the links. So you can set the color of the links to, since we have black background, we can set this to let me say white, and the hexadecimal number for, and the hexadecimal value for white color is this. Right, and next thing that I want to add now is text decoration. So text decoration will be set to none, and what that will do is to remove the underline. And another thing that I want to add now is to add a kind of a space. So to do that, we do padding, we'll do 14 pixel, and padding will do 14 pixel by 16 pixel, and then we do display to block. And what this will do is to keep them just on top of each other. This is going to create a space between each and every link. This will remove the underline. This will change the text color to white. So let's just do Ctrl S to save, then refresh our page, see what we have. And here we go. This is what we have now. Alright, so let's go back to our editor and do more. And next thing that I want to work on now is on the LI. So to do that, we'll do .navbar space UL space LI, and let's do font. So let me bring this up a bit so that you guys can see it. So let's do font size, font size, and let's give it a 25 pixel, and then font weight to bold, and then let's add border bottom. Let's say 2 pixels, solid white. Ctrl S to save. Refresh your browser, and this is what you have now. Alright. actually what I want to do now is let's go back to the browser again. There is a border here. There's a border down here, and let me just change the color of that border bottom so you can see what I mean. So for instance, if I change it to green, and see if I refresh this page, you see that what I mean in this. You see we have a green border down here. I want to remove that, and one way to do that is, actually let me just copy this and paste it here, and I'll do last that's child, and I'll do border bottom, and I'll set it to none. That should remove the border bottom here. So if I refresh this page, that border bottom is gone. Okay, so let's go back and then do more. So the next thing that I want to do now, so we will actually have to receive some effects. So to do that, I'm going to change this to hover, and yes, I'll add a here because it's a link. So we can just say color, set the color to yellow, so that whenever anyone hovers on that, you should have a yellow text color, and then the background to be let us say blue. Ctrl S to save, and if you go ahead and then refresh this, when I hover over it, you see that the background changes to blue, and then text color changes to yellow. Alright, let's go back to our editor and add more. You can even do a kind of you know what, let us leave it at that. I think you guys can add anything you like. But to save more time, let's continue. And the next thing that I want to do now is to work on the active. Actually, let me copy this. It probably look very familiar, and I'll paste it. I'll change this to active. Active. And I'll change the color to maybe, let's say green, and we change the background to, actually let's change it to this color, 555. Ctrl S to save, and refresh your browser. And once I click on it, I think you guys can see the effect. Once you click on it, the color changes, both the background and the text color. So that's what we mean by the active. Alright, let's go back to our editor and do more. So let us copy this again and paste that. Ctrl V to paste. So let's change this one to focus. So if I say focus, and we can change this color to, let us say purple, and then the background to something like black. Ctrl S to save, and if you click on any of it, so this is what we have now. You can actually change it to any color you like. So I think let's change the background color to something else. Maybe let's just say yellow. Anything, anyhow. Yellow. Ctrl S to save, refresh, and here is what we have now. So you can use any color that you like. So I think that's it for the navigation menu. The next thing that I want to work on now is the article part. So to do that now, we'll call the article, and I'm going to give it a width of let's say 60%, and we're going to create a float. We're going to float this to left. The background, and the next thing that I want to add now is the margin left. Margin left to 10 pixels, and then padding left to 10 pixels. Control S to save. Go back to your browser, refresh, and this is what you have now. But notice that we have not actually worked on the, what is it called, the sidebar yet. So we're still going to work on that. So the next thing that I want to work on now is the sidebar. So I will now go ahead and grab the sidebar by saying A side, and I'll give it a width of, let's say, 18 pixels, sorry, 18% to make it responsive. And we'll add a float to right. And we can give it a background of green, and then a text color of white. Actually, let me bring this up a bit so that you guys can see what I'm doing. Alright, Control S to save. Then go back to your browser and refresh. And here is what we've got now. Okay, and notice that the sidebar, what is it called? The footer is actually floated to the right. So for us to do something to it now, to correct that, we'll go back to our browser and say footer. Sorry, we'll go back to our editor and say footer. Now, wow. So we'll do footer, and then we'll do clear both, and that should be able to remove, to bring the, and this should be able to bring the footer down. So if we refresh this page, we should now have our footer down here. Alright, so we can add a couple of more other styles to the footer, such as the background. Let's give it a background of let's say black, and then let's give it a color, text color of white. Let's to save, and actually let us center the text to bring it to the center. Sorry, see text align. Control S to save. Refresh your browser, and here we go. So what I'm going to do now is to, I'm going to copy this link and paste it a couple more times. I'll do the same thing to this and the same thing to this, so that we can have a vertical navigation bar right here. Okay, so if I go back to my index, and I'll copy this and paste a couple more times. Alright, and I'll copy this also. What I want to do is to just have enough text in my web page. And then I can also paste that on the sidebar. I think that should be okay. Ctrl S to save, and then when I refresh, I should have enough. Yes, this is what I have now. Alright, that's what I have on my web page now. Okay, let's go back to our editor and into our CSS. Actually, let me add a couple more, just one thing more to this footer. Let us give it a padding of, let's say, 10 pixels. Ctrl S to save, and when we go back to the browser and refresh, I want you to just watch this browser, and this footer should increase. Yes, it has increased actually. Let me scroll down so that you see. So the size has actually increased. Alright. So, and I think that's it for the CSS. And the next thing that we need to do now is to still within this CSS make this website responsive. So I'm going to let me just add a comment here. Make it responsive. Close the comments. And the way that we do this is through the use of a media query. And to do that, just say add media, like a function, and you see max width is to, let us say 678 pixel. And what that means is that anytime a browser accessing this web page is under 678 pixels, whatever styles that we're going to be giving to this should take effect. Alright, so let us actually give some styles to it. So this first thing that I want to do now is to actually take the navbar. So if I say .navbar UL, and I'll do this. And the first thing that I want to do now is to remove the float none, so that there will be no floats. And then I'll give it a width of 100%, so that it will actually occupy the whole page, whole space available. And then so if I save and refresh and resize the browser, you see that the what is it called, the navigation menu actually assumes 100% of the page now, thereby pushing down the rest of the content. Alright, but this still doesn't look fine. We need to actually bring down this side also. So to do that, what we need to do now is to let us now call on the article. So we do article, and let us just copy this, copy and paste this, Ctrl C, and you can also do the same thing for the A side. So what we're basically doing now is that we're just removing the floats and then making the width 100%. So if I save now, you should now have everything placed under each other. So that is it. You see the navbar is on top. The next thing is the article section, and after the article section you see the sidebar. So that is actually responsive now. But one thing that I want to show you now is that the way that we have formatted this, there is a shortcut for this. So if you delete this, we'll take that away. Instead of formatting it that way, you can actually add a comma here. You say article, comma, a side, and that's it. If you say Ctrl S, these two lines will actually do whatever we want to do for us right now. Okay, so if I press Ctrl S to save and then refresh, we still get the same thing. See that? So that's a shortcut. So another thing, so what I want to do now is to actually increase the font size of the text in the body whenever this web page is being accessed with a screen under 678 pixels. And the way to do that is to just say body, and we can do font size. You can do 1.6 em. Press to save, and you see that whenever it is under this, you see that the text, if any time, and you see that anytime it's being accessed with a phone, the text size actually increases. Alright, and don't bother yourself about this scroll bar here. This is not actually the right way to test for responsiveness. So if you want to actually test for the responsiveness of this, you need to right click on this page. If you are using Chrome, just right click here, select inspect, see that, and from this place, this is actually the general checking of the responsive, and as you can see, there is no horizontal navigation bar here, so that's what makes it responsive. Alright, so you can actually text it under different screen resolutions by maybe choosing Galaxy S5. If you want to see how it will look on that, so this is how it will look on Galaxy S5. Alright, so for other ones like Pixel, it will look on it. Okay, so you guys can go ahead and test for it. And thank you guys for watching. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm going to make this code available for download. So you check the description box below to get a link where you can download this code and use if you want to use it. So thank you very much, and subscribe to this channel if you are not subscribed. Thank you so much. Goodbye.